check it out. I'm going to act a little goofy in this video because I'm trying to keep a light-hearted spirit up today. And that's okay. Alright, check it out. I'm making this video to inform, to expose the truth concerning the factual realities of torture, murder, mind control, neural enslavement, human trafficking, you name it. And I'm just going to fly right into it. So check it out. First thing I want you to do, I had the printout concerning the actual laws and the acts, but I got them in a file somewhere that I think I put in another spot and I can't find them right now. But what you can do is you can go to the internet at Google and type in the Space Preservation Act. And not just the one that's current. Look at the bills that were, the acts that were attempted to be passed. And they, as a result, the one that was eventually passed omitted what was in the original bills back from 2002 and 2001. Those bills directly mentioned psychotronics. Now, why am I making this video? Because you need to know what I'm about to show you. This is a satellite. This is just a really bad picture of one, but I drew it in order to be able to get you to see some factual realities concerning what is known as HARP and what is known as satellite technology. That is literally, the military has perfected neural decoding and encoding. And basically what it is in order to give you a preliminary introduction, you need to get this book, The Body Electric, Magnetism, and the Foundation of Life by Robert Becker. Now, Robert Becker was featured in the Jesse Ventura Brain Invader show, Conspiracy Theory. I believe that show took place in December 2012 or January, and it can be Googled. Robert Becker is in the end of that show. He's an ex-CIA and DOD scientist, okay? And he flat out admits that the targets of these crimes are not being abused, they're being tortured. And it's being done for multiple motivations. The Body Electric is the name of the book. Go to Wikipedia, look at mind uploading. Go to Google, type in remote neural monitoring, directed energy weapons, microwave hearing effect. And basically what they're doing is using scalar, Cartesian, and parabolic coordinate systems in order to vector a target's location using cone geometry usually. And what they basically do is microwaves can go through anything, water, cement, pretty much basically literally anything, literally. And as a result, and they're not just using satellites that they have up in the sky or in the outer space, they're also using stationary satellites that are in the community, including also cell phone towers and radio towers. And basically what they're doing, this is a satellite feature in reference to an illustration. What they can basically do is take a vectored location, like this building here, this person walking down the street, and this house. And as a result, they use what is known as cone geometry in order to vector this area of where these three things are, okay? The person, the building, and the house. And then as a result, what they can do is the microwaves that are interlaced with radio waves that are infused with the microwaves can basically go right through any building material, and the human brain, usually using the central nervous system as a conduit, including also the physiological signals of a person. And it doesn't matter if you're in a building, if you're underground, okay, if you're in the water, in a house, in any kind of building, any kind. It can literally go in as a result of having your location vectored, okay, using usually these coordinate systems. Using cone geometry, the satellite will vector a space that you are in or the building's in that you're in, okay? And as a result, the microwaves penetrate these materials in order to be able to interface. They modulate the microwaves down in order to interface with the body electric, the biomagnetic field of your body and your brain. And once they have identified your unique bioelectric signature, okay, they can piggyback on it and then assign a number to the brain waves that your brain emits. They're magnetic waves, okay? And then they can also ascertain any neural network that's in the brain by identifying the resonance frequency of that as well. And what is it used for? Now, the reason why I do what I do is because I don't care if you're black, white, Mexican, Hindu, Persian, Asian, I don't care. And I'm going to tell you why I don't care, because not caring is the right thing to do. We're all human beings at the end of the day. I don't care what religion you are or lack of religion that you are. I care about every human being because every human being has got the right to freedom of choice. It was one of the, and I'm a Christian, okay? And the following statements can apply to anybody in reference to the reference point of why they're being made, but I stated it as far as like being my own personal beliefs and concerning why I do what I do. See, God created us in order to be able to have free will, okay? In His image, to have free will. So He could know if we loved Him or not, by choosing to love Him or choosing to not, okay? It's also where we make all of our decisions concerning navigating through life, our environments, our social relationships, whatever, okay? Well, with this technology, they have literally through neural encoding and decoding, had neurally decoded the human brain, physiological systems, and so on and so forth. EMG signals, everything. And as a result, once they're identified and marked, they can literally torture you to death. They can also expedite what is known as gang stalking, which is also called organized stalking, okay? And they can also put an implant in anywhere in your body, okay, in order to aid and abet in the torture. Now, why is the torture and the harassment of gang stalking happening to a target, which can also include electronic rape? If you go to the remote neural monitoring file at the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance, you'll clearly be able to see that part of the remote neural monitoring file talks about the phantom touch, and that's basically where they can identify any nerve ending, yes, as a result of identifying your physiological signals, and then send pressure or sting signals to them. Now, in order to make that area of the body feel violated, including any private part, it doesn't matter if you're a man or woman or a child, okay? And as a result, they manipulate that area of your private parts in order to make you feel like you're being raped through electronic means. I strongly suggest you just research it extensively and meticulously. They can also monitor all of your evoked potentials, no matter if it's cranial, motor, any evoked potential, which is also your thought patterns. Okay, this technology literally has the ability to read your mind. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play you a very small. One of the reasons why they're torturing people is because whenever you are under any kind of duress, whether it be physical duress, emotional duress, or mental duress, which is neural duress, all of them are actually neural duress, your mind and your body is reacting to it, including all of your physiological systems is reacting to it as well. Why this harassment and the torture is happening, what they're doing is monitoring the EEG fluctuations and the emotional clusters and the EMG signals, the EEG readouts, everything that has to do with the human physiological system, the central nervous system, and the brain is being monitored in reference to how the brain and the physiological system and the central nervous system is responding to the torture and the non-stop harassment. Okay? Now, and why are they doing that? Well, listen to this.
Legislative changes to the common rule. What can we do with people like this? Educate yourself, and that's one of the goals of the consortium and Freedom from Covert Surveillance and Harassment is to educate people on this. If you feel you're being a victim, or even if you've just heard this tonight and you're concerned with the fact that it's not illegal, really illegal for the government to experiment on the public, write your senators, write your representatives, tell them that you want legislative changes to the common rule. Especially now is a good time to do it because we've just met with the commission. They are well aware that this is happening. There were at least 10 victims there who gave chilling testimonies. I talked to them and I showed them the loopholes of the common rule that skirt informed consent. Right now is a good time to really write your senators and your representatives saying that we need cut and dry legislation against experimentation. At least that would give a basis for victims to bring litigation against the government when this is being done. This is hard technology to prove, George. It's unseen. It's either HARP or satellite based. It's weapons that are being used on you remotely. You can't see directed energy. You certainly can't see, microwave waveforms that are being beamed at your head. about the only thing you can do is try to catch the stalkers, because this always goes on with organized stalking. It's a combination approach. The organized stalking is meant to put you in a victim mindset that they can get into your house and you can't stop them, while the rest of it probably is the true experimentation, which is with the directed energy and the EEG entrainment.
All right, we'll stay with the split program tonight, so we're going to take your phone calls this coming hour then, and also perhaps your stories. Maybe you've been a victim. We're with Dr. John Hall, his work, A New Breed, Satellite Terrorism in America. And welcome back with Dr. John Hall. John, as you were talking about your situation with your family, and that's one of the reasons you got interested in this, did you believe it in the beginning? Did you think it was happening?
Probably not at first, and and that's what we see with a lot of victims. Is it's real quick. Whenever someone's hearing voices that no one else can hear, it's real easy to write them off as mentally ill, and certainly we're seeing that in the psychiatric population. But when you put it in context with the breaking and entering, which is noticeable, the vandalism that's done in the homes, you have to put it in that context. And when you have these victims come to you, a lot of them feel that they've been chipped, and we have found some chips in some people. It's being done through chipping and non-chipping technology. When you put it in context with everything else, marks on the skin, break-ins, people following them around, which can be documented, then you have to take it seriously as victimization, and that they've been basically enrolled in an experimental protocol, and it's not mental illness.
Do we have any champions in Congress who will battle for us?
So far, that's really kind of what we're looking for, and we're hoping that by having met with these people at the Presidential Commission on Bioethics, that will give us a stepping stone to getting some Congress people involved in the fight, and certainly involved in the fight in changing the common rule to where it actually will protect you from experimentation. And like I said, right now, the way it reads on these agencies getting informed consent, there's at least 4 ways for them to skirt informed consent that are so vague that it's amazing that more experimentation than is going on isn't being done on the public.
Okay, let's go to the phones. We'll go to Skype first of all in Macomb, Illinois. Julio's with us on Coast to Coast. Hi, Julio.
All right, now before you hear Julio's testimony, I want you to understand something and be clear. Sorry, that's just the way I talk. The harassment and the torture is so they can harvest emotional clusters and neural activity and EEG spikes that are experienced as a result of the harassment and the torture. And why is all this being done? It's being done for mind uploading. This can be Wikipedia'd and extensively and meticulously researched, so you have a preliminary template to build off on as a result of having a preliminary understanding in reference to this. Now, I'm sorry you couldn't see what was on this website here, this printout here, but I want to help you understand something. One of the reasons why they're doing this, okay, is because what they're trying to do is create artificial intelligence based on an artificial brain. Okay, and that's why they're creating artificial neural networks. Okay, now this is this is IEE Explorer right here, and just go to Google and type in zero-sum two-player game theoretic formulation of affine nonlinear discrete time systems using neural networks. Okay. And this is where what they're trying to do is basically be able to figure out how they can upload a human consciousness and the human mind and everything involved into a robot that is run by artificial intelligence. Brain and mind operational architectronics and man-made machine consciousness. Human beings right now are being tortured in real time in order to reverse engineer their brains and to upload their minds. Human experimentation directly connected to the military, who's subcontracting it to crime groups, because they're the ones who are responsible for the assaults, the rapes. Some of them are also connected to other groups that are in control of this technology in reference to the monitoring of a target, the neural and physiological manipulation of a target, the electronic rapes. They're also responsible for the staged assaults and staged physical rapes. And this is all done so they can harvest emotional mental brain entrainment, okay, and neural EEG responses. So they can harvest them into a computer to either beam back at the same target at a later date or other targets, because they can clone EEG signals. They can clone physiological signals, and they can clone EMG signals. Any evoked potential they can clone, modulate it, and then just beam it back to another person. And basically what they're doing is doing nothing. And because they're making money off this stuff, but they're also into all other types of research. And the mind uploading is a huge aspect of this. The only thing that I can do, fellow American citizens, is tell you the truth. They're going to take me off Social Security because I'm exposing this. You better believe it. My father was Chief MP to General Curtis LeMay. I have retired NASA in my family, retired high-ranking Air Force, and my ex-husband was a submarine radar antenna electrician. Submarine radar antennas are directly connected to the second PDF link that are at the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance. They're also using these technologies for mind control, neural enslavement, human trafficking that has neural enslavement connected to it. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, finish listening to this.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I have two quick questions, and I have a comment, and I think some interesting stuff's going on with me being followed. Do you think with sound technology they could be manipulating people through music and the media? I'm a broadcasting major, so I think it's interesting how they could easily deceive people. And in terms of sound technology and cell phones, what could be a tipping point? I recently did an investigative report on Rahm Emanuel, and it's on YouTube, Exposed Rahm Emanuel, and I think following that, I've been hearing things on my...
Now I'm going to interrupt you just for a second so you can go to YouTube and type in Connie Marshall, targeted individual in Kentucky. She flat out talks about how they were sending radio signals over her phone through her ear. Yes, because you got to remember, the whole entire body emits a magnetic field, okay? That's where you got this book that was written by an ex-CIA and DOD scientist, The Body Electromagnetism and the Foundation of Light. You got to do your research in order to connect the dots. And as a result, what they can do is send radio signals through the receiver of the speaker of the phone. And they can paralyze your thoughts, and they can also transmit and receive neural activity through a phone. Is this one reason why our current president is trying to give away so many free phones to the poor? Is this why every day when I'm harassed by organized stalkers or gangs, which we want to call them gang stalkers, practically 98% of them, when they're harassing me, they're facing their phone or their computer? What does a phone and a computer have? When it's not at their ear, it's still got a screen. Yes. Can a screen be used to project cone geometry in order to project a magnetic field that is directly to the head? Yes. Let's see, I got it right here. This is a cycle per second in reference to brainwave frequency listing, cycles per second. And it literally talks about every single aspect of you can be manipulated through frequencies. Okay? And this has to do with the same frequency waves in reference to a cell phone. It says right there, mobile phones. Okay? So, and it also says through Wi-Fi as well, the computers, the internet, when you're standing in front of a monitor. Okay? Because the monitor is run and emits frequencies. A frequency of the monitor or the screen. The screen also emits heat. Heat can be converted into a frequency. And if you're staring right in front of the monitor, bada boom. That frequency is modulated to interface with the bioelectric magnetic frequency of your body and your brain. They're just modulating it in order to interface with it, in order to copy and clone your EEG spikes, all your neural activity. You would not believe what I know. So listen to this if you don't believe what I'm saying.
Like glitches, I hear echoes all the time, and I have one of those quote smartphones, so I think it's really easy. I hear like people sometimes conversations in my cell phone while I'm talking with another person, and the person on the other line thinks I'm crazy, but I honestly hear this stuff, and I just want to hear from you. I think you're the perfect person, Dr. Hall, to ask about this. And God bless you, and keep up the good work. And George, you're awesome as well. Webster talked to last night was great. So keep up the good work.
Go ahead, John.
Well, in answer to your question, actually, that is actually older actually called silent sound spread spectrum technology. That was invented by a man, the last name of Lowry. The patent has been around for a long time, and according to him, and this is quotations directly from him, that he can piggyback the silent sound spread spectrum technology through anything that produces a radio frequency wave, whether it's a cell phone, stereo system, your car stereo, and according to him, can actually download emotional clusters sets into your brain and clone EEG tracings through silent sound spread spectrum. And that technology can be used across anything that generates audio or any type of a radio frequency signal. Certainly your stereo system or your cell phone would qualify.
Okay.
Alright, so my name is Leslie Williams, and I'm here today to tell you, fellow American citizens, you will not believe what I know, okay? You will not believe what I know until you research it for yourself. And let me tell you the reason why I do what I do. Because I have literally seen young men and young women who did literally absolutely nothing wrong get human trafficked before my eyes as a result of brain entrainment and remote neural monitoring. Go to YouTube and type in Timothy W. bioethics issues. Okay, listen to how he talks about brain entrainment, okay, and neurocognitive weapons. Now, you heard John Hall mention brain entrainment in this from the audio that I uploaded to this video file. You can also see brain entrainment talked about in the remote neural monitoring file at the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance. Now, I have so much extensive experience as a result of being a target of this gang stalking, organized stalking bullshit. And as a result of the experiences, who my family's connected to, what I've seen, the education, the research, the testimony of other targets, and then synthesizing it all together, let me tell you something right now. My learning disability has got some gifts attached to it. Just bear with me. Okay, and you can Google this fact that certain learning disabilities have extra, you know how like a savant will be able to perform human calculator functions or remember what they were doing on a date, any date, 15, 20 years ago? Yeah. Well, with my type of learning disability, I also have some specific sidebar gifts that the average person doesn't have. And one of them is being able to see the whole picture and being able to synthesize information. And that is actually, in part, I believe, one of the reasons why I was picked. Because nonlinear processors, which is directly connected to my learning disability, are the hardest thing that they have not figured out yet in reference to this human experimentation. Nonlinear processors, they have a harder time neurally mapping, okay? And not neurally mapping, but neurally controlling because of the way we process information. So what they want to be able to do is figure out how the brain that processes information in nonlinear order works. Okay, that's why they call it zero-sum player game theoretical formulation of a nonlinear discrete time systems using neural networks. Because when you're processing evoked potentials, you're using a time